Welcome back to the Art of Hobbiness. I'm Erin, joined by my co-host Tam.
Yes!
And today we're diving into a world of talking about hobbies and happiness.
Yes.
And yeah.
Which is Art of Hobbiness.
That's right.
Art of Happiness.
I know.
It's not a clever title.
It's extremely clever. Come on, let's give ourselves some credit.
It's so clever.
But no, today in the episode, we're going to explore some science behind happiness and hobbies that we found, which we thought were really interesting, and how hobbies can boost your mood and reduce your stress and add more joy and meaning to your life. So we hope that you enjoy this topic and should jump right in, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, first of all, let's go ahead and have a moment to laugh about how, like, we thought we were, like, the most clever people ever when we thought of this podcast, right? We're like, no one's ever thought of happiness with hobbies,
right?
And we're going to think of it, we're going to share it with the world. And then as we've got into this, we're like, oh, wait, actually, we were the last people to know.
And it's actually really well known.
Heavily researched, right? And so when we were first like, okay, so we needed to have an episode about, like, really drilling it home that like hobbies really will make you happier.
Yeah,
like
it's huge.
There was an article that we stumbled upon that was actually from Harvard University. It was actually referencing an article,
and a research article,
like a research article from Nature Medicine,
yes,
right?
Right.
And I think everybody in the hobby world knows what exactly the article we're referencing. But for those who don't, this article basically was based around a study involving like 93,000 people, specifically people aged 65 and older, right? And these 65 and older people actually were people who had like ailments and like had some just challenges, right? Like it wasn't just like your average Joe Schmo. It was like people who were generally just not as healthy as the general population. And they did this across like multiple countries, right? I think it was like 16 countries.
16, yep.
And they had all of these people do hobbies, right? And then not all these, they had like a collection do hobbies and some that didn't, right? And so like they studied that and found that the group that had hobbies actually were reporting less symptoms. Were reporting
they were less depressed.
Depressed.
They had increased happiness, better health, and they were like overall happier with their lives.
Happier. And even though they had like ailments and were generally just not healthy people, just because they had a hobby that gave them meaning, it gave them purpose, right? Overall made them happier. And I feel that is just like a couple of points that I like took away from that is one, not only is it like, man, like really drilling home that like this is a really great way for me to handle a midlife crisis.
You and me both, Tam. You and me both. I'm going to be 40 in a few weeks. Oh, my God.
Some people are like, I'm going to buy a new car. And I'm going to do this. And I'm like, I should probably pick up a hobby.
Let's start a podcast,
Let's start small. Right? And so, like, not only is it a great way for me to handle this midlife crisis, but also, like, it just goes to show that, like, even though, like, I'm coming into the hobby game, we're coming into the hobby game in our 40s, right? It's not too late.
No, right.
You know?
And I think really what it comes down to is, like, we're super passionate, and we've found over the past year that, like, it truly does increase your, like, quality of life and your happiness. And, like, the more you're doing this and the more we've been trying hobbies and, like, connecting with people, like, it is literally making our lives better. And so we are like, a testament to this, like, research article. Like, we could...
Oh, yeah.
You know.
I'm a hobby evangelical now. Like, I swear, like, it's all I want to, like, anytime, like, I talk to any friend who's just, like, I'm in a rut, I'm like, you won't believe what I have in store for you.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel that,
and it's, I guess it's, like, too, it's not just the hobby, right? It's starting a hobby, but it's also just taking that time to find something that brings you joy, which was what a hobby is, right? A hobby is something that brings you joy. So, you know, when we say hobby, that is such a blanket statement. It can mean so many different types of things, but it's about like just taking that time, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour, you know, daily or weekly, whatever kind of time you have to set aside.
Absolutely.
So, and that, like, those little increments of joy that you put in your life every day or every week can make huge changes in like your level of happiness.
Oh yeah, I agree. Well, and like I even noticed so in my personal life, I feel that now that I've kind of got hobbies in there, I feel that I'm learning more about myself.
Yeah.
I feel like
Definitely.
I'm a happier person, which is overall making me more pleasurable to be around.
Yeah,
right?
you're a better mom, better wife. Yeah, you enjoy like your work so much or more. Like it's not as just monotonous. Cause
absolutely. And like because I know that I'm getting space now for like myself and working on things that I want, I'm not so envious and resentful against my husband when he has that time.
I was just thinking about this. This weekend is a perfect example because we're recording this on a Saturday, right?
Yep.
And so we're taking like I don't know. Few hours this morning, just our time, and literally tomorrow both of our husbands are getting together for like 4 or 5 hours to do Dungeons and Dragons board games, whatever they do.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's like the perfect like example of how now we don't. It doesn't. There's so much less resentment.
Yes.
Because we're like giving and taking, and it feels more fair and equal.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, that's just a side note.
I actually noticed that too. Like, because he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna have everybody come here," and I was like, oh, "Here, that's a big deal." Yeah. And I was like, "But I'm okay with it now because now I get my own space here too, and now you get your own space."
And before that would have been probably really annoying.
Oh, I probably would have been so annoyed.
Yeah.
I probably would have been like, "How dare you encroach on my territory?"
Right.
Like I live here, I eat here, I work here. What are you doing to me?
Yes.
But no, like I just feel like overall it's made us better.
Definitely.
Like people,
yeah,
right?
I feel like, yes, it's just made life better. And I feel like, so 100% back this hobbies make you happier. Self-care makes you happier. And we kind of dived into, because I'm kind of a science nerd.
Love that.
And, and I'm more of like fact. I like facts. So I just dived into a little bit of like, how does it that hobbies bring you happiness? And to no surprise, I mean, when you do something that brings you joy or happiness, it gives you dopamine release, So instead of scrolling Instagram and hitting those reels and TikToks to give you that dopamine release,
no, that's
let's
so smart.
Hit the hobbies and do something that's actually like in the real world that is tangible, that you maybe you have something to show for it or connect with people on. You know.
And you're not like, trying to, do what you're seeing on like the socials, right?
You're not comparing yourself to other people.
Like I have found, and since the holidays are kind of over, like things are kind of like calming down around the house, right? And so I started finding myself like, when I'd have some downtime a little bit, I was going to my phone just to kind of like do something mindless, and I was like, dang it, no, that's not what I want to do here. I want to make use of my time. So I've been trying that anytime I feel like I need to go to my phone just to scroll, which is like useless, I'm like, nope, I'm gonna go do a hobby. I'm gonna go do something.
Good for you.
Well, I mean,
I'm trying.
Yeah,
no, I mean that's a good thing to at least try, because I feel like I'm sure most people, if you get on your phone because you're bored. And you're just end up wasting an hour of your life.
It sucks you in, man.
And then, you have nothing positive to show for it, and you probably feel worse about yourself, actually.
Oh, yeah.
After you've done that. So, yeah, anyway, so, like, there is a physical, like, thing that happens when you do something that brings you joy. You get the actual endorphins going, dopamine going.
It's like that line in Legally Blonde where she's like, endorphins make you happy.
That's
happy people just don't kill their husbands.
Yes.
And I can tell you, I don't want to kill my husband as much anymore.
Oh, I love it. That's such a great line. Oh, yes. Thank you for bringing it back.
Yeah.
For all those millennials out there, you know what we're talking about.
They know.
But no, I mean, and you can just tell, like, it brings, like, a stress reduction. You can just zone out and focus on something. There's no pressure, right? And so there's a benefit for that too. And just having something that you look forward to doing too, it gives you like purpose, like what you're saying for that study.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, I'm looking forward to doing that thing this weekend, or whenever you set aside the time. So it's like helps get you through the week if you're having a bad day or having a bad week, Yeah. So
I love it.
Yeah.
What else did you learn in your science exploration, Erin?
Well, I don't know if it's like science necessarily, but there's like so many benefits of like the happiness, the joy, and escaping from if you're having a hard time in life. Like it's just there's so many benefits. What
about like emotional benefits? Like I feel like I know we kind of already talked about how like it just brings you joy, but like. The study itself shows that having something that brings you joy, like, reduces, like, your mental strain.
Right.
It brings you, like, it reduces the number of symptoms. Like, there's a connection to that. I think that's incredible.
It is incredible,
It's almost kind of like a mind over matter thing gets involved there, right? Like, kind of just will yourself to, like, obviously it doesn't completely get rid of everything. Like, it didn't say, like, the study was, like, wiped all these symptoms clean. They just reported less dwelling on it is how I interpreted it. Is you're not sitting there wasting time away just thinking about how sick you are.
Well, I would imagine. I mean, I don't know if they've done more research on this, but I would imagine that when you have reduced stress, you have reduced cortisol in your body, so your body can relax, and then your body is healthier just generally.
Oh, yeah.
And so you feel better, you know, like all those things. So I think there probably is an actual physical thing that happens too.
Sure.
So I don't know. I'd be curious to follow up and see if there is they've done any more research on that.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, I think too, just depending on the hobby you pick, like we've talked about how you can share it with other people.
Oh, yeah, like the social aspect.
It's very well known that the more friends you have, the more community you have, like the longer you'll live, better your quality of life will be long term. And so, you know, hobbies can be a way to do that too. An easy way to do it that's like low pressure.
Yes.
Right? You don't feel like you're walking into a room of people and have to like talk about
all the things about your life,
you know?
or just like little chit chat that you don't care about.
But going to, like, I'm more on the introverted side. I feel like I'm totally aligned, but more on the introverted side. So like for me to go to a party with a bunch of people, like I don't like that because I don't like doing all that small talk and stuff.
What?
However, if it's like a class, there's it's way less pressure, you know, but then I feel like I'm among people, like you can chit chat about what you're doing. It's an easy conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's, you know, that's another value of it is that community aspect.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do know that you're more my introverted friend. It's one of my favorite things about you because I feel like when I get around you, I'm like, come on, Erin, let's get silly.
It's so
I
true.
like to bring that out of you.
You do a good
but
job.
you're right, though. Like that social aspect, I mean, like we talked about how like it's having, like if you're more in like a depressive state or like, you know, sometimes I just feel like I'm just down, right? And I just like, I don't want to be around people and I just kind of inside with myself. But, you know, some of the things that kind of help bring me out of it is, like maybe I don't want to focus or go and see a group of people because I don't want to talk about myself, right? Yeah. But having a hobby to go and see those people with, it kind of helps me have a subject that isn't about me specifically, that I can still talk with people about and then still kind of break out of that like sadness, right? Like it kind of ebbs and flows, and like once I kind of get out of that little sadness, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm fine, I'm better. I just needed to feel accepted in my world, or I just needed to feel that like or you need
a distraction,
need a distraction.
Like sometimes we get in our own heads, and I think everybody does it. You ruminate on whatever terrible thing is happening in your life, and then you just get like in this monkey mind of like you can't.
Monkey mind.
Yeah, have you not heard that term?
No.
It's a legit term.
I'm gonna use it now.
Monkey mind of just replaying things over and over in your head.
It makes sense now. Yeah. Okay.
So it's like in a yoga meditation world, monkey mind. Yeah. So anyways, another topic, another day. But no, it's just, you know, that when you sit and you keep replaying something over and over again, like having a hobby or something to just break you out of that cycle, something else you can focus on, right? Oh, yeah. That helps you get you out of that headspace.
I agree with you. And I think, you know, the other aspect that we can kind of talk about, like how hobbies like make you happier, is that it also kind of gives you personal growth, right? Like you learn a new skill, and as the study shows, it doesn't matter what age you're at. You can
I do love that the study was like 65 old.
You know,
it's like we all still can do this.
Because like there's a part of me that sometimes wondered prior to really kind of exploring this side of this study was, did I come at it too late? Like, am I like way behind on the curve?
Can I really like rewire like how I think about things or do things? For sure. Can I learn a new skill?
And you know, even in this year, I feel like I can confidently say like I have, right? I feel like I've personally grown. I can feel it, and like I'm proud of it, and I feel good about it. And so, like, I can imagine.
That brings you so much confidence, right?
I do. Yeah. Like, I just feel like I'm this better. I'm evolving into a better version of myself that I wanted to be, but like maybe was just didn't have the skill, didn't know where to start a year ago, right? And so, like, seeing that in this study, they started with people who are 65. It made me feel like I'm not too late. I'm like, it doesn't matter when you start. Like, just go for it. And you know, I think. What I also really kind of took away from the age range that they did in this study was that I feel like if you're, this is going to sound dark, but like if you're at 65, right, and you're kind of ailing, like you're probably like counting the days a little bit, right?
Yeah, starting to think about it, for sure. Yeah.
So like I feel like at that point in time, like you're probably not really thinking about mastery as far as a hobby, right? You're just probably looking at a hobby for more like joy, and that kind of encouraged me that maybe it's like, okay, so maybe another takeaway I can take out of that is I don't need to do a hobby for mastery. I should explore hobbies for purely just joy, learning a new skill and for the joy of learning a new skill, right? And like, I don't need to be the best person at tying flies. I don't need to be the best person at crocheting or, you know, punch needling. I just need to feel like I gained something from learning that skill, whether it's confidence or joy or happiness. Because I feel like happiness isn't always the instant result in happiness too, right? Like happiness is also kind of something you have to learn to get to and kind of almost get to a mastery level of, right? So I that was something that I took away that made me kind of feel a little like a little validation and where we're at on this. It's like, I'm not late to the game. I'm just getting started. And everybody can start at a different age. You know, our goal is to kind of, you know, help our children start early, right? And then also take care of ourselves.
Absolutely. And like share this idea and this passion with like everyone, right? This, you know, hopefully building a community of people that can be inspired, but also like inspire us.
Yeah, because we truly believe we're not the only ones out there that like this, right? That's why we were like, let's podcast about it, because surely there's other people like us out there. There's no way that just us two happen to find each other with the same exact problem, similar, and like wanted to use the similar answer as a result. Like, there's got to be more of us out there.
Absolutely.
So I think like anybody who is kind of trying to feel like where do I begin, or like, does a hobby really like make you happier? Like, I think you actually kind of came up with some like practical steps.
I did. Like just some very good tips that we've kind of come up with that have helped us. So yeah, you can break those down. So one is to just start small. Yeah. Like when we started this, it was kind of overwhelming to think about like dedicating even more than an hour to anything, right? Yeah. And so starting small with 10 minutes of something, whatever it is. And so, you know, kind of trying to explore what you like and figuring that out. And we actually have a little like free PDF for
we do.
Exploring.
Forgot about that.
Like,
you should tell people about that.
figure out your hidden hobby, but like it's a very step-by-step like try to a way to start small. It's literally like a couple pages of things you can write down, like kind of a little journal. So check that out on our there's a link in our Instagram. So anyways, and then, you know, making time for it. Like, this is the hard part, is especially for women, is like you have to literally put it on your calendar when you first start. You have to have conversations with your partner to like let them know like, hey, this is really important to me, please support me, right? So and then like, don't worry about the mastery. Like, don't focus on being perfect. That was a big thing for me too. I feel like the first hobby I tried was bread making or sourdough bread making, and I got so frustrated I just gave it up after like a little bit, because I was just like, this isn't for me. However, you know, now if I did it, maybe I wouldn't feel that way. I would
be curious if you revisited it now that you've done pasta,
because there was really like, I got just frustrated with that. Like, once I baked it, it wasn't what I saw on Instagram. So anyway, so I gave it up. But yeah, maybe I'll revisit that in the future.
I think you should. Yeah.
And then experiment. Like, this comes back to figuring out what you like, what works for you, what makes you feel good. So really checking in with yourself. So it's a lot of self-discovery, right? So yeah, so start small. Make time for it. Don't focus on perfection, and experiment. Yeah. And I'd like to add a fifth one, actually, I just thought of. Cool. And that's accountability. Because I feel like that's huge. So it's one thing to be, when you first start, it's hard to be just accountable to yourself. It's so easy to say, I'll do it next week. Yeah. I'll do it next week. Or something else comes up. Instead of this. Yep. So it's really like either whatever works for you. Putting it on your calendar, making it scheduled, giving yourself a reminder, telling a friend, telling your partner, whatever it is. Take a class that you paid for. So that you're like,
it'll force you to do it.
Whatever it is, you know, for that accountability, at least when you first start. So those are my 5 tips.
Erin, those are great 5 tips. Thank you for reminding me about our hidden hobby PDF. But no, I think those are all really great tips. And again, I think, you know, going back to the article that's, you know, from Nature Medicine is there is no like age requirement to this. Like, you can literally start today and change your life. Like, if you're feeling yourself on the verge of a midlife crisis, as we found ourselves about a year ago, like, use this. I think this is the millennial version of midlife crisis, is we're hobbying.
I love it.
And I think that's like, and I think we're gonna be a better generation for it. Yeah. You know, I feel like as a whole, like, we're gonna turn into these 65-year-olds who are just like,
having fun in life,
just
right?
Having fun,
you know?
We're
not grinding it away, just for retirement or whatever,
And, you know, as parents, you know, you always try to, like, fix, like, your generation's mistakes in the next generation, right? And I think that we're trying to do that. So I also encourage that you find a space for your kids to be able to be a part of it. And I think that overall it'd be a great way to make everybody happier.
Absolutely. So if you want to increase your happiness,
yes,
follow us on The Art of Hobbiness.
Yes, you do.
Because we're all about hobbies and happiness.
Yes.
And we want to support you.
We do.
We really do. And support each other, because that's what this is all about.
Community.
Yep, community.
Accountability.
That's right. So we love it. I hope you enjoyed this topic. And connect with us on socials. We're on Instagram, Threads, YouTube. You know, check out our podcast. We're on all platforms. So we'd love to hear from you.
Yes. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Bye.